Hey everyone, welcome to Night City Sofa. I am Jess, and I will be your host tonight. With me, I am joined by the ever wonderful Games and Hades. Hey guys.
I'm Games.
I'm Hades. Welcome in.
Tonight we will be talking about the latest Cyberpunk RED DLC, No Place Like Home. But before we get into that, if I could find my notes, that would be great.
I have your notes open.
There we go. So do I, but they're in like one of my many tabs because my second monitor has decided to die, which is really, really unfortunate.
Yeah, you never realize how much you need that second monitor until you use one and then lose it, and then you're like, what am I going to do with just one monitor?
See, I've already gone back to that, and then a friend was like, oh, I have a second monitor, I'll give it to you. I'm like, thank you. So I've had a second monitor again for a while, and now I'm back to one monitor, and it's very sad. It's real rough.
I have never had to, so.
It is really nice.
It is really
World
nice.
Changing.
I'm sad now.
One day, that's the dream.
If you guys have any questions about anything going on as we chat, please do not hesitate to post them. Games or Hades will let me know if I can't catch it myself. Because it's just so small with one screen. So I'll do my best. And let's see. Before we get into this one, I do want to quickly talk about July. Yes.
The last
I had to go back like two months. July's DLC, which was the Edgerunner Folio, and designed by Jay Gray, which is a different style of character sheet that comes in either a printable or a form-fillable, like PDF form-fillable version. I'm not going to talk about it a lot, but I did want to let you guys know that it is out there. I think it's a really great format that gives you a lot more space for your notes and your weapons. I don't like that all the skills are not written on there. They're just kind of, you can put in the skills that you have, which Moxie's, by the way,
that's how the sheet's supposed to be.
Goes over the skill list that's there. I have too many. But also when your GM's like, hey, roll this one random skill that I've never asked you to roll in 3 years of this campaign, you're like, that's great. What's the parent stat? Because it's not on my list.
Right.
And I like having the parent stat there.
Can we talk about it for just a moment? I was going to say, the reason we didn't do a show on it is there is not enough material there. But I think it's a really good improvement on the base sheet. Yes, it doesn't have all the skills, but a lot of things it does have are very nice.
Yeah. I probably would have like a skill list because that's just what I prefer and how I prefer to have like all the stats on me.
Right.
But for weapons and for gear, it's super handy. And I know there was some comment about not being able to put multiple roles in there because it only has like one spot for role and your box.
It's like multi-classing in D&D.
Well, so for me, I'm like, just put a slash so you have both roles there and you know what points they are, and then in the box just type both because it will auto-adjust the form-fillable one.
You know what else it's missing though? The Headquarters tracking sheet.
Currently, it is missing the Headquarters tracking sheet. You were right. But would that be on a character sheet? Because isn't that its own like separate like crew sheet? Because the Headquarters is for the crew.
Yeah, but who are you gonna let have that? I think everybody needs it.
Everybody needs to keep track of it, and then when there's discrepancies, go with the highest number.
That's awkward.
My Headquarters would be decidedly less filled out than you guys this would be. Yeah.
Yeah, but then Games would forget his character sheet and be like, well,
it's okay,
I'm pretty sure it's this, so we'll roll with that.
But you guys should definitely check it out. If you haven't, I will post the, just as a reminder, I'm going to post the link in, chat right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link in the description below to go to our Talsorian's website and pick it up for free. All these wonderful DLCs are for free, and they release it monthly, and they're fantastic.
And can I say something else about that? I'm sorry I keep interrupting you, Jess. I love you, and I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're fine.
now these are available on DriveThruRPG also for free. So if you don't want to go to their website for some reason.
I was going to say, I know DriveThru has, like, they bundled them by year. Do they also have the latest ones?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So,
I trust you.
last I checked, they did.
So is there a place like home on DriveThruRPG?
I don't know. Let me go check.
Right.
Now
we have to go.
I like the game's like, or you can get it here, and I'm like, but can you? I don't know.
Well, you know, the other thing about the skill tree, too, for Red, what's kind of nice is there's a lot less skills than for 2020. Anyone that's played 2020, that skill list is absolutely massive. It's huge. There's like 50 skills.
Yeah.
I feel like
Or
there's
more.
50 skills in Red.
And would get messy.
Well, if there's like 50 skills in Red, Red would be like 30 skills, and 2020 is 50.
Yeah.
That's how many more skills are in 2020.
And then we would just add things.
Yeah. And there were 3 blank spots for making your own skills. Like, zoology was a skill. I don't know why you needed it, but we did, and we used it multiple times. By that, I think we rolled it once.
But you never
Toggles
know.
is-
In it.
Toggles is the last one that they added.
Okay, so it'll
For
probably
Classic.
get up there at some point.
Yeah. I assume they'll just update the 2024 because they can do that. Push the update until the year's over.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
But if you don't want to wait for DriveThruRPG, you can get it on our Talsorian's website.
yeah, for sure. Which is a lot easier and available immediately.
So I think that's the Edgerun Folio. Unless is there anything else we want to talk about with the Edgerun Folio that came out in July?
No, and that's the reason we didn't do an entire episode.
It's a super handy resource, but
Yeah.
not
There's not a lot of meat,
it wasn't
unfortunately.
quite enough to have a whole chat about it. So moving on to No Place Like Home, and I'm going to quickly put the cover up on screen. I'm so sorry, Hades, because it's going to cover you for a slight moment.
Ah.
I know, I'm so rude. But it's No Place Like Home base building in Cyberpunk RED. There we go, Hades is back. It's written and designed by Jay Gray and James Hutt. And we haven't, I don't think, seen those two do a joint DLC in a while.
Yeah, it's been
Like, it's been other writers or one or the other not together. So it's nice, I don't know, I always find it nice when they get to put something together. It's 8 pages long, and it contains, like, so much information on obtaining a headquarters, improvements you can make to help the crew, and there is something for every role, which is really nice, because normally I find certain roles, certain of the same roles keep getting forgotten or shafted because
There's
reasons.
a lot you can give them.
Well,
So,
definitely
because
not
they're
the
more
media.
narrative-based roles than other based roles. So there's something for everyone, and I'm so excited. Not just the roles, but like for like crew bonding as well, which is great. So we're gonna go through them and chat about those before I get into the upgrades and the improvements. Of course, with every DLC there is lore. And this one is at the front of the DLC. It's the first thing. It talks about the Cyber 6, which is an edge running crew. The data note that's on the side does explain that the Cyber 6 first appeared in the story Black Dog, which was written by Mike Pondsmith, which is really cool. And it gives you the names, roles, and personality of each member of the crew. There's also the note about wood chipper and monthly block parties. So if your crew doesn't have something to go on, see if they can score an invite to wood chipper's block party, because that's canon. That's a thing. And I totally want to go to a block party, a wood chipper's block party. I don't think we'll get to, but I think that'd be really neat.
We should try to make that happen.
Yeah.
We should.
Force Lake. I know we're in the middle of doing important story stuff, but
Yeah, but instead, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go to a block party.
That sounds like us to a T, though.
yeah, pretty much.
Oh. All right. So, yeah, check it out. awesome. Just it's a one page. It's a bit of lore, and it's great. It explains a little bit about how headquarters work too, which is nice. Headquarters themselves are sorry.
I was gonna say, can I say my one complaint about this DLC?
Sure.
Having read the entire thing multiple times, the cover art is just not as good as a lot of the other ones. That was all.
I think I don't know. I like it. I like that it's just kind of like a blueprint of a base building as opposed to an actual base. Because I feel like, because if it's a blueprint mentally, you kind of go, oh, I can change a blueprint. Where if it's a picture, it's like, this is what I want. This is what it has to be.
Right. I'm just saying, like, when I'm scrolling through all the DLC I have saved in a file, like, a lot of the covers pop out at me, and that one just kind of like, blue and white. If that's my only complaint, though.
Really, yeah. You searched real hard for a complaint on this DLC.
Now you know that, the one that looks stupid.
Yeah.
The one you don't like is really important.
Right, and the tarot one, which has a really interesting cover. I never need to read it for any reason, so...
I always have that one open. Just in case. So speaking about headquarters, it's a space controlled by your crew that represents like their center of operations. But it's not immune to the dangers of Night City or your GM. No plot armor is going to save it if the GM decides someone wants it for themselves or they want to take it out entirely. So just remember that any points that you put towards this does not mean you will get to keep it forever.
That's the thing, like, all of this is so OP, but the trade-off is, if your GM has a tendency to blow up your home...
I mean, it's not like it's happened twice.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm just going to say, Lord Jesus Christ, thank you, by the way, for joining us, mentioned that it might be the blueprint to the Forlorn Hope, because this was one of the mechanics that is going to be in the new Tales of the Red Forlorn Hope book that's coming out in the fall, last I heard.
Yep.
So it could be that. And also, yes, it does mimic the housing DLC imagery that we've seen so far. I was typing that out and I was like, it's just going to be easier if I say it. So.
Oh no, I was laughing at the next thing said in chat.
Who hurt you? Energy right there, but we all know who. We all know who.
That is true.
So, yeah. Also, the headquarters does not remove your lifestyle cost. You guys still have to pay rent. You still have to pay your monthly cost for food. There is, however, upgrade to the headquarters that will lower those for you. But just as a note, it's not like, I'm going to get this building and never have to pay rent. You still have to pay your rent and lifestyle.
Yeah. And this on top of that.
The way you obtain a headquarters is through headquarters IP, or HQ IP. And you earn it in an equal amount to any IP received under that group IP column from your GM, which for us, at this point, we all assume that all of it is under the group category, so it's just going to be an equal trade-off for the Shades cast, until told otherwise. So, if
Blake
the GM awards 40 IP...
using this yet? We're still tracking it.
Yeah, we're still tracking it. If the crew receives like 40 group IP, then you get 40 HQ IP. That's how it works. It's point for point. And then once you have a bunch, you can decide what to spend it on. There's all these, was it upgrade and then improvements?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then improvements, not the other way around. Okay.
I think. Hold on.
I know, suddenly I'm like, wait, it's one and then the other.
Now I'm
improvement and then an
everything we've
upgrade.
said.
There we go.
Yeah, improvement, then upgrade.
Yeah. And it's not considered yours even if you take over like a space and you're like, this is where we want it to be. Like the arcade, for example. We move into the arcade until we actually spend that IP and buy our first improvement. It doesn't count as a headquarters.
Yeah.
Oh.
The first time you buy that first improvement, though, once you make it, it's considered a headquarters is yours. Finally, it's important to note that headquarters aren't limited to PCs only. Your NPCs can also have headquarters with improvements, allowing the crew to use those benefits if the GM deems it worthy. For example, Spoiler alert. Okay, Nicey Sofa always has spoilers, guys. I don't have it on the screen right now, but will always be spoiler alert for
Everything you
Shades of
say is
Scarlet.
a spoiler.
The Nook technically could have been considered a headquarters, an NPC, a Rex's NPC headquarters, with the Twin Scalpels technically being a medbay.
Sure.
Is what it could be, right? We didn't have one. We technically didn't need one, but we could have used that medbay, and Pons would have had all those pretty bonuses. So you don't need to have every single improvement or upgrade in your headquarters specifically. If you make friends with NPCs, they could have it. So bolster those relationships. And then it's harder for the GM. If the GM wants to take that away from you, then the GM's hurting themselves. I'm just it's a balance, right?
Yeah,
maybe.
GM.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Not entirely true.
We're looking at you, GM.
We got so hurt. So hurt. Okay, so now let's get into the good, like, meaty part of this DLC. I'm gonna pass it on to Games because I've talked way too much.
You're gonna pass it on to me. I'm gonna start with Garage then.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the improvements that you can get, make sure that I'm using the right word.
Right?
Yes, one of the improvement you've got, it's in my head now, is called Garage. It's 40 headquarter points to get the Garage, and it comes with a compact ground car. That compact ground car can be upgraded and improved the way that Nomads upgrade and improve things, which is awesome. But it can also be destroyed, and if it's destroyed beyond usable, you lose it and its upgrade if that's what happens, which is truly unfortunate. But its upgrade, which costs another 40 HQIP, is that now your Nomads can use it to respec their, what's it called, their vehicle, their moto roll
skill?
ability. Yeah, they can use it to respec what they've chosen in the past, as long as all of their vehicles are at 100%. So that's pretty cool. And super helpful for Nomads. So
I like that you get a ground car. I feel in our game specifically, it would be a busted ass piece of shit ground car if we were ever given it. But
right.
I like that you get a car.
Yeah, you just have a
car in the time of the Red is difficult to come by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty awesome because, I mean, imagine you're a team that doesn't have a Nomad.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can get a headquarters, and then you can suddenly have that transportation that you need rather than taking the bus or the taxis or whatever else you have to do.
Buy a car for $1 billion.
Well, because, I mean, it's a very real problem for teams. I mean, transportation there and back.
Indie Bandits, we used cabs to get everywhere we went, or the bus system, which sucked.
Until you guys got skates and skateboards and bicycles.
Then we mostly walked everywhere.
Spinning Your Wheels DLC, really cool. Check it out.
Yeah. But yeah, that's more or less the Garage improvement. I'm going to pass it on to Jess. You're on both sides of me here, so...
No, it goes to Hades next, about the server room.
Is it Hades? Okay.
Yeah. So we're not going in order, so if you're following along in the DLC, I'm so sorry. We're not going along in order of the DLC, because I wanted everybody to be able to talk about the rooms that they were most excited about. So we're in order that it wasn't just like Games talking about this room, and then me for 2, and then Games for 1, and then I just rotated it between each of us. So
then I'm gonna pass it on to Hades now that I've looked at the notes.
I mean, I'm just saying that I mean, you would be totally shocked at the ones that each person chose overall if you're paying attention.
Garage is the least like me one.
Yeah.
But other than that, the rest of them are like, yeah, that's...
Just saying. Because mine is server room. So, as you know, server room, basically it's 40 headquarter IP points for the improvement. You put that in, and you get a net architecture for home security. and you can see that on page 217 of Cyberpunk RED's core rulebook, went 20,000 EB to spend on that. Now, you can't move it, you can't resell it, you can't do anything like that with it, and you can't keep any unspent funds, but you can basically make a defense system for your headquarters. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that might have been handy.
We were trying to figure out how to do this.
Right, remember? We were kind of talking about it with just our 2 apartments.
It's the 20,000 EB that would have stopped us.
Yeah.
Well, that's how, I mean, but it was quite expensive to put that stuff in. I mean, and you had to buy the architecture, so, like, doing it through the improvement points makes it much easier to do.
Oh, yeah.
Because otherwise, in my opinion, you'd have to find a place that already had something like that in there and then repair everything.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of easier in a sense.
But takes so long.
But it would take a long... Right. Yeah. This just makes it easier. It kind of streamlines it.
Oh, for sure. 100%. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's that price tag where, like, a garage with a car you don't need the money on top of it. You just kind of, like, get the car. This one, it's like you get net extra, but there's still a cost to it.
Right.
And then my favorite part is the upgrade cost, because they're kind of doing, you upgrade the server room one more time, and that's, your max 40 headquarter IP points. A Netrunner crew member can use Alexec to upgrade, fabricate, and invent cyberdeck hardware and cyberdeck programs as if they were a tech using the maker role ability. Consider the Netrunner's upgrade, fabrication, or invention expertise to be equal to their interface rank for this purpose. So basically, it just opened the door. Make sure you look at page 148 of Cyberpunk RED core rulebook for that maker ability. But basically, that just opens the door for programs, and you can modify your cyber decks to be a little more like, I'm going to say, like, I went through the list multiple times when picking my second deck, and I didn't really I didn't find one that just was really perfect for me.
Right.
I felt like there were a lot that were good and cool, and I liked the one I have, but there wasn't one that I really was like, oh, that's the one. That's exactly what I want. So I just kind of went with a theme and went with it. But I also want to mention that if you have if you need more ideas or anything like that in the 2020 core rulebook, they actually talk about making programs in the 2020 universe, and it might give you some cool ideas for your upgrades and your cyberdeck thing. At least I thought it did when I went back and reread it recently and was like, oh, this is kind of neat.
Yeah, there was some really cool stuff you could do back then.
And yeah, but pretty awesome. Like, there's only 3 demons in Cyberpunk RED. It's a little light. Maybe there should be more.
Yep. Program some demons.
I just thought that was kind of a neat, but totally recommend doing that if you have the ability to on 2020.
Yeah.
And off to you, Jess, for one that is totally useful for you.
It's very useful for me. So I want to talk about the evidence wall, guys. First improvement, I think all of them. I could be wrong. I should have scanned this. I was talking in chat instead because, I am on top of things. But I believe most improvements and upgrades are all 40 HQIP.
So. I don't remember there being anything more expensive.
Yes, there is. Okay. So this is great for both medias and lawmen, 2 of what I feel are more like situation or narrative roles than anything else. You get a +2 bonus to composition, criminology, photography, deduction, education, forgery, library search, photography, film, as long as it applies to an ongoing investigation that is currently on your evidence wall. Which is so fantastic, because it means that the time that you actually spend narratively gathering evidence and moving towards these stories, you're actually seeing like a skill bonus to it. Because otherwise, lawmen and media, they don't get that kind of bonus. We don't get to do anything with the stuff that we narratively push forward. There's no like bonuses to skills for us. It's like, well, you can call back up, maybe they'll show up, maybe they won't. Media, it's like, well, you can RNG and see if your story that you worked a whole week on and spent all this time with gets to be published. Good luck. It doesn't, or rules don't actually tackle any sort of skills. So actually having something where it affects our skills is so nice to see. And more than that, when it is upgraded, the bonus for lawman goes to +3. But for medias, guys, oh my god, your believability for a story you publish goes up by 1, which, depending on where you are level-wise, is not a big deal. Your believability for me, if you've never looked at the media roll, guys, fun fact, your believability goes by 1 every 2 levels. I am currently a rank 6 media. It's a 4 out of 10 chance that someone believes my story. With no evidence. If I get evidence, of course it can go up. Blank is very specific about evidence being very different types and very different things, and even if I got, 5 things, they have to be different, or it counts as only 1. So, it's a struggle. Where I am right now, I can spend 420 IP to increase my rank roll to a 7 to get 1 more point of believability, or I can spend 80 points of Headquarters IP, get an upgraded evidence wall, and save my 80, 420. Think. Now, again, Headquarters IP needs to be spent by your crew as a whole, but if you are on that cusp of changing things, this is a seriously solid option for medias so that you can spend your points in, I don't know, handgun or evasion so that you don't die because people keep trying to kill you.
You can't kill the story, Jess.
No, but you can kill the media that is writing it.
It's true.
So it is, lawmen, media, we don't get a lot of bonuses when a lot of things come out because it's, it's so geared for other roles, and this was such a great improvement for these 2 roles. I love it so much. Games, the lounge.
I actually am going to talk about something that also benefits media.
Ooh.
But only in its upgraded form. So the lounge. So you have a sick place to hang out, right? During in-person meetings that are held in the lounge, fixers in the crew gain a +2 bonus to bribery, bureaucracy, business, conversation, human perception, persuasion, and trading checks.
Nice.
Which is awesome.
Can I just say that if
Yeah.
we had this lounge in Frank's when we were first talking to Blue, we would have gotten a much better deal. Possibly.
Oh, for sure.
But it can help in moments like that, where it's like, even if you're just chatting to chat for something you want, it's helpful.
Right. But then when you improve it, both medias and fixers gain a +2 to all checks for setting up in-person meetings with anyone the GM determines falls under their contacts and clients or access and sources for media. So any check that you make to try to set up an in-person meeting in your lounge, you're going to get a bonus in. You get a bonus for it.
But only to my contacts and clients, which is weird, because it's like, if they're my contacts or my sources, rather, for immediate sources,
right.
One would think, because I spend IP to get those sources, they would help me anyway, for the most part.
Yeah, but this can expedite them helping you.
Yeah.
Because even if I'm your best friend, if you call me when I'm in the middle of, like, my wife's giving birth, I'm going to be like, yeah, it's going to be a week. I'm sorry.
And somehow a +2 is going to change that.
Oh, shit. Honey, you're on your own.
No, I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean. Like, it's the difference between, like, hey, I'm going to ask you for a regular thing that you can help me with versus, hey, I need this thing that's possibly going to put you in danger. It's like, yeah, okay, you're going to need a skill check for that.
Right.
At which point
Except
you'd
for
get
if we
a bonus.
did that, you would constantly be inviting people into our headquarters to have meetings in the lounge.
It doesn't say to set up a meeting, or does it have to have the meeting
It's
in
to
that?
set up an in-person meeting.
Right.
But any meeting in the lounge for fixers is improved. I'm surprised.
Yeah, so I just have to
improved.
I just have to make the call in the lounge, and then I can meet them anywhere.
Yeah.
So that means like that couch from Rex's.
Yeah, Rex's couch, the white couch.
Rip Rex's couch.
But yeah, so that's what's going on in the lounge. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Hades for the workshop.
What? A workshop?
Workshop.
Fine. So workshops actually, they're very. It's definitely for a tech. 40 HQ points. Is there anyone that's not 40? Like,
No.
I'm just curious.
I scanned it. They're all 40.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I just thought it was weird that
they put a cost.
Why put a cost there if
everything costs
anyway? Yeah, because like I think some of these could be more costly, in my opinion.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Especially the media ones, because
anything media should
has
cost
to be
more.
like double.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. And whenever tech, so very much workshop is for techs, 100%. They spend their time using, upgrade, fabrication, invention, maker specialties while in the workshop. The cool thing about it is instead of just spending time on one project, they can actually have two going at the same time. So like a good example of that would be like if somebody's trying to upgrade a flamethrower attachment on something, they can also be working on finishing the compact ground car's upgrade to super luxury. So they can do two at once as long as they're spending that full time doing that and working on it. And then if you upgrade it, you can do 3 projects at the same time. So, I mean, that's really cool. I mean, if you're really into that upgrading part and changing things like that in your games, we haven't really done a whole lot with that, I don't think, in ours.
No, you have not.
No.
You guys just repair armor.
I don't have... I can't... The only one who can do that is not me. I can only fix shit.
No.
I actually had that conversation with Blank about what can I do with all my high points in this. He said unless I switch to a roll ability of the tech, because this is their big thing, I can't invent anything. I can only, or upgrade it. I can repair anything.
Yeah, you can work on, modify what it already exists.
So, interesting like that.
Yeah.
Was super handy.
That everything?
I think so. I should double check. Is that everything, Hades?
Yes, that is.
Cool. And the upgrade, they can add a third thing.
Yeah,
that's what
you mentioned that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about the med bay, which is handy for everyone, not just your med tech. Because if you have a med bay, every member of the crew naturally heals as if their body was 2 higher. So if you have a low body, like a 5, it's now like a 7. That shaves off at least 3 days of healing from a week. Or a day of healing if it needed a week. Either way, it's super handy. Also, your medtech crew members get a +2 bonus to first aid, paramedic, and surgery skill checks. So when Wraith is actually doing surgery on us to fix our broken arm. What did you fix of mine recently? My spine? Was it Moxie's spine you fixed?
Yeah, it was your spine during the clown incident.
The bozo attack?
Oh, yeah.
He would have gotten a +2 to his surgery skill to help with that. So you do have to be using the medbay for these bonuses to apply, so that is not going to apply to your first aid when you're out in the field, but it will help you when you're actually in your headquarters. Yeah. So if your headquarters gets attacked and you have a med tech, just grab them, drag the person to the med bay, make sure you get that +2, then go back out to the fight. Or just hole yourselves up in the med bay so you always have that +2. It's just a thought, small thought. Also, when it is upgraded, your medtech crew member can now use science chemistry to upgrade, fabricate, or invent street drugs as if they were a tech. You're going to use the medtech's skill level for the purpose of, like, to replace the tech's fabricate level. You would just use your medtech skill. But medtechs now can actually create street drugs, which I think is so important, because I know that is, like, kind of a point of contention, especially same with, like, netrunners not being able to make their own programs where it has to go through a tech. It's the same kind of with, like, but I'm a medtech, I know how drugs work. So I love that this headquarters space gives you that ability to make drugs.
Well, and it was available in 2020, and Red took it away from us for good reasons.
I remember.
We had a med tech that made, it was a very difficult drug for him to fabricate, but he made a really good drug. And then decided his character retired and just sold that drug all the time because he made more money doing that than running with us, which was not helpful. We needed our med tech. But it was nice to have those things back in 2020, and it's good that they're re-implementing them in a more measured way.
Yes.
So.
Dr. Feelgood, baby.
Yeah.
So that's the med bay. Helpful for everyone. Games. I'm passing on to you.
I'm talking about something that's even more important for everyone. Rent reduction.
I see your improved healing and raise you. Rent reduction.
So if you are using your headquarters as a home for your characters, you can get rent reduction, reducing its rent cost by an entire level. If you use the chart of, like, how much different real estate costs per month, it reduces it by one level lower on that chart. You skip anything that says given to you by corp, because clearly that can't be done, and it doesn't qualify for things that don't charge you rent, clearly. But, like, a cube hotel drops to 100 EB, which is incredible. And you would, like, a 2-bedroom would go from, like, what is it, 2,000 down to 1,500.
2,500 down to 15.
Yeah, 25 to 15, which is 1,000 EB savings on that. So that's awesome. Also, the upgrade is the thing that Jess and I were having a disagreement on the show last episode about. So it says that you can upgrade, you can do its improvement any number of times, kind of. And by doing that, you add a room to your headquarters, like a bedroom to your headquarters, if your GM would allow that. Or you just add an additional bed, but you can't go over twice its original size. So if it's like a 2-bedroom apartment, you could have 4 beds, and you no longer get the crammed effect. It's as if everybody has proper sleeping. But yeah, so it just makes it to where you can sleep more people in a smaller space because everybody has a bed. Or if your GM's a really nice guy, you get additional bedrooms. So, I mean, there's that.
Woohoo!
Additional space, yeah.
Yeah, I think the example wasn't that where you like buy a garage with an attached one studio?
Yeah.
And then you just gain the next studio over?
Yeah.
So, like, that's kind of how that works. Because you've done jobs for wood chipper or something.
Right.
Yeah, so at the end of all this improvement, it does give, like, a breakdown of how the Cyber 6 went and bought their headquarters, like, bit by bit and spent their points. So if you're a GM, just a side note, when they get a headquarters space, maybe give yourself some room to play with it to expand, if you so choose to allow your crew to expand that space.
Well, like, I assume if we took over the arcade, it would be the upper floors that we would be expanding, because right now they're in ruin, but we would make them usable as we expanded.
I think the upper floors are probably fixed. I think it's the...
Well, when we were in there last...
The apartment complex, not the arcade.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, we could have ended up with, like, the whole top floor of the...
It's true.
Of, like, the apartment building or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could have left room for that.
Right. So, yeah, just leave room for growth. But yeah, that is rent reduction. Training area, Hades.
Woohoo! Guess what? It costs. Yeah, you already know. 40 headquarter IP points. Training areas, it's pretty neat. Any crew member can do this, so I think that's pretty useful to everybody. They can practice a following skill: athletics, archery, auto fire, brawling, evasion, handgun, heavy weapons, martial arts, melee weapon, or shoulder arms. And when a skill is practiced, the crew member gains a +1 bonus on all checks made using it until the next time the crew receives IP from the group column after a mission is completed, or until they practice again. So the group column IP, so that's when that's spent on you. You lose that +1, but you can practice again and get it right back. So,
which I feel like for us it would have to be every episode, like every session.
Right, because the way we do,
like if you don't use it, it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how I see it, though. Like, if I'm going in there to practice my handgun, you want to keep doing it to you stay sharp.
Right. The X-Men use the danger room all the time.
Right. Kind of thing I'm thinking of, too. And it would basically be a danger room because it would have to be virtual.
Yeah.
Because how would you practice your heavy weapons in that room? Like, that would be my question.
Depends on the heavy weapon.
But, like, you're practicing your RPG launching.
In the middle of the city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, your headquarters is now next to the water, and your target is the boat. That's like so far away.
I mean, I just I every other skill though, like I can be like athletics, okay, easy, weight training, obviously no problem.
What about like piloting?
Archery, you can do that indoors. Auto fire.
Oh, there you go. Patient Zero says beanbag cannons and glitter throwers.
Oh, that's true.
You don't actually have to, like, fire off explosives. It could just be glitter.
Man, you'll never get that out.
I want a flamethrower that shoots glitter now. That would be so awesome.
That would be so awesome, and the worst thing if you're on the receiving end, because it would get in your eyes. Like, it would have to give you the blind condition instantly. Yeah.
If we're ever hired to scare somebody, can we fabricate like a Hello Cutie gun and modify it into shooting glitter and stuff?
Yes.
Like beanbags and glitter.
We've agreed.
So
we have majority vote.
Do we?
Because I mean,
we don't yet. We need one more.
Giffy will go with us.
And then when you upgrade it, that's where it becomes the amazing thing for solos. And it's just solos, and they gain an additional benefit where they can choose 2 skills from the list to be considered practiced.
Which is neat.
Which is, yeah. I mean, solos already, rock combat like crazy. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Why not? And we'll pass it along to Jess with another one.
With a lockup, which I feel would not be like a horrible thing for Gojira to get. So essentially it's a soundproof room where you can drag one person and interrogate them, and they cannot break out of that room unless they have a body of 13 or higher. So unless they have like a linear frame, which get your medbay, make sure your medtech removes it, then throw them in there, you're probably set. There's no way for them to get out, there's no way for them to scream for help because it's soundproof. So you're good. Now if someone finds out that you have them and come looking for them, different story. Again, barricade yourselves in the medbay so that you have that +2 bonus from your medtech. But, so put the lockup next to the medbay maybe? I don't know, thought. And then you can upgrade it, and you can hold up to 3 people in separate cells, which I love that they specified it is in separate cells, so that if you are one of those GMs that it's like, you put them all together, mwahaha, combined, it's like, no. 3 separate cells, all soundproof, and as long as they have been there for at least 1 day, any lawman gets a +2 to interrogation checks to those prisoners, which is really sweet. Interrogation's not something we see come up very often. I think I've used it once.
Yeah, I have points in it for being something we don't do.
Yeah. I was the prisoner in the cryo tank. Good. Totally good. Or, now, lockup. So, super handy. Regardless, I think even just having a soundproof room, if you don't have a lawman in your crew, is handy to have.
Not the worst idea.
Yep.
We could have conversations in that room, feel more comfortable.
It's true. And Moxie could go there to scream when we frustrate her.
That's probably true. What it would be used for the most. No word of a lie. No word of a lie. Even if it's not even plan? To scream, because
give me a moment.
I'm more angry than I think she is. I think it would just be to go in there and say all those things that she now has to filter out because she has to be nice and watch people's feelings. So it's like, I gotta watch what I say. So she just closes the door. Paces. I'm good. Games, over to you.
Alright, now we're at the most important of all of the upgrades. The studio. So the studio is a space that is good for everyone, and by that I mean just the rocker boy. When they're in the room, they get a +2 bonus to acting, composition, play instrument, paint, draw, sculpt, and film photography checks, which is awesome, very helpful. But more importantly, when upgraded, they can spend their time doing the checks in the studio and gain a +1 that stacks for making a check. So if they're trying to, I don't know, release an album, they want to do a really good job on it, they could go in there and get like a +6 to their check when they go to record their album just by practicing in the studio, which is amazing and I think a very needed thing.
So like your studio time really makes a difference.
Yeah, because it can make or break an album. So
I will say I like too that they didn't just limit it to like play instrument, because I think when a lot of people think rocker boy, they think musician, but it's not. You could be a graffiti artist or a BD artist or an actual painter. So I like that they made sure to add those other skills into it. And it's not
Red has been really good about that on a lot of the roles, that it's not like just the one thing you think it is. Like a lawman isn't necessarily just a cop. If you can find something that fits that archetype that makes sense to you, because like a rocker boy can literally just be a motivational speaker, if that was their thing
100%.
Yeah, and so I like that Red has made it very possible for all of the roles to kind of branch out if they want to. And they really showed that with the studio, because they're like, here's a whole bunch of things like sculpting or paint draw, that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you're better at this now. So that's nice. Yes.
Am I up?
I believe so. Yep.
All right, let's talk about the workstation. Again, it's that 40-point cost. So workstations, they are specifically for exec characters, because they come with a crew, and as a member of the team, you're exec, and then you have your own little crew as an exec. And when you choose this improvement, one of those team members on the exec's team is considered a full member of the crew, gains IP whenever their exec gains IP, and should receive an equal share of pay for any gigs they participate in. IP and cash are spent as the GM decides. So basically, you're just creating a full NPC for your team. But not only that, but there is kind of a loyalty thing with the exec role with their team members to them, or to the corporation. And when you use this improvement, their loyalty is to their immediate boss and not that corporation they work for. So they're not going to report on you for doing these side gigs or whatever you're working on. And when you change companies, that that person will actually follow you to the new company rather than stay with the old company if you switched from like Militech to Arasaka or wherever you were taking that to. If access is lost, though, your team member can no longer gain IP or payment from jobs, but does keep benefits gained due to the past spending. So you don't lose anything, but then if you lose it, you don't gain anything more. But once you improve it, or upgrade it actually, that improved member doesn't even worry about, you don't even worry about the loyalty system, which is on page 154 in the Cyberpunk RED rulebook, core rulebook, and they stay loyal. It doesn't matter. They are loyal no matter what, unless the exec actively betrays them. So you don't even have to worry about them anymore. And if the upgraded thing is destroyed, removed, or otherwise lost, the crew must choose to spend the HQ IP on this first, or that team member feels betrayed and leaves as soon as possible.
Which is a great story hook.
Yeah.
I think that, yes. Yeah.
You have like an underling, like an intern that like gets you coffee and answers the phone for you. That's like super loyal after years and years. And then like, I don't know, somebody takes over your base and you're like, nah, leave the intern. And then they're like, I'm coming to get you.
Kind of like David.
You can do a lot. Oh,
a little bit like that.
A little bit like David.
Is he going to be the big bad in the end?
No.
I think that would be hilarious.
I love David. I don't think David has the brains for that.
You're not wrong.
He is the eyes.
We've just never noticed.
That would be so surprising.
I think next is about, the morale boost. And so the way the morale boost upgrade works is every time... So you can put multiple improvements into the improvement, morale boost improvement works. You can buy into it up to 10 times. When you do, it gets a new benefit. Some of these benefits go hand in hand, so we're going to group them together as opposed to going down the list. Starting with me because I'm next in the rotation. So first is, your second upgrade to the morale boost is healing. So everybody gets to heal as if their body was 1 point higher. It does stack with the medbay improvement. So if you get that medbay improvement, you're healing 3 points higher than you normally would, which is great. I also want to explain that the team morale boost is a great way to customize your space to fit like your crew. I know we were talking earlier about having like space dedicated to ourselves where, if you want to have like a beady video game room and that's where you guys all hang out and chill, then that's what that morale boost is for you. If you want, I think a Wraith would probably have a bar. A full liquor bar. And I think those are the things that you're going to put in. Mox might even get like a pool table, to be honest, or a poker table, I think, as like a morale boost.
Deeps, I think he would get a Cyber Tiger enclosure.
I thought about a Vim enclosure, to be honest, like an actual like full big terrarium.
He gets an entire room.
Oh,
he gets an entire like glass fucking case. Yeah. So you get to like personalize the space to make it more yours, and then you get these bonuses because of making it your own and making it more comfortable. So that's healing. And then I also, at this first one, wanted to talk about, job pay. Yeah. The fifth upgrade, Fixer crew members gain a +2 to trading checks when negotiating to increase pay per person for a job. But non-Fixer members can now haggle to increase by 20% as if they were a Fixer with Operator rank 5. They don't get any additional bonus to their trading. But the fact that you can actually now have that bonus to be like, no, I want more money, is real nice.
For sure.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a 2 and 5.
So I think mine are 3 and 7, yeah?
I wrote it down. I'd have to look. I'm not on the right thing.
Correct.
They are. So both the ones I'm talking about are luck, because luck is very important to my character and me as a human being. So basically, the way the luck works is this is the only way to raise someone's luck in a game, and technically the only way an NPC can get luck. If you spend a morale improvement to gain +1 luck, then everyone in your crew brings their luck score up by 1. So a NPC that normally shouldn't have luck now has a 1 luck. So it's cool. And you can do that twice, at 3 and at 7. So you can get a +2 luck if you have 7 different improvements.
We all know how much luck has changed the game.
How I use it on just the silliest stuff.
Yeah.
But actually, if you had all 7, that would allow you to use 1 mulligan luck.
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the luck improvement. So, Hades. You have Humanity Restoration.
Yes, so Humanity Restoration, and that's at 1, 4, and 9. And it's basically, for each rank, it just increases. So at the beginning of every month, each crew member can restore 1d6 divided by 2 humanity at rank 1 to their maximum humanity as determined by their installed cyberware. So you can just get right back up to max. I don't know about you, Wraith, or you, Moxie, but humanity's been pretty low in our entire team.
Mine is currently at the maximum it can get to.
Nice.
Which is still low.
I think I'm at a 2, but...
But I mean, like, just having that automatic...
Not having to pay for that, yeah.
And go to therapy.
And spend the time in therapy, yeah.
But then the next rank is basically you replace it and you actually get to roll a full d6 rather than just 1d6 divided by 2.
This is monthly though, right?
Yes, monthly.
So that's your trade-off, is it will take you quite a bit to do it naturally versus a concentrated week.
Right. That is the difference. It's just kind of like everything's all right when I'm home.
Right.
Yeah.
Sucks everywhere else.
The world isn't collapsing. Hanging out at our pool table.
Sitting there playing ping pong with yourself because the board's up being like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
You walk outside and like, oh.
But if you get that final upgrade, you can roll 2d6 and take the highest roll each month.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
So that's pretty nice. I mean, even if raising it by 1, I mean, I think that's pretty cool, just for free.
Well, yeah, and this is a good way to cope with the dark future.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, and I think that a pool table would be a great example of this, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's really nice, too, for those, like, little moments, because I know Blank has pinged us, like, a couple times for, like, 1 or 2 points here or there for seeing, the dark future.
Awful things.
Yeah.
So this is a nice way where it's like, if it's being slowly chipped away, to kind of get that chip humanity back.
Yeah. And, I mean, we kind of do these, like, group bonding downtime things anyway in story. This just gives us a reason to do it. Instead of having, like, a bar hopping night or a,
We drink in our headquarters now.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Much cheaper.
In the med bay.
In the med bay. Always in the med bay.
We invite them to the lounge, too.
Right.
We invite people over, and then they steal our TV.
Oh.
It is the way.
So I'm going to talk about hustling, which is great. It's an upgrade, a morale boost upgrade you get at 6 and 8. And so if you actually, this is what I like about this, because if you actually take the hustling, take a week of time to hustle, it's not a lot of money. It really isn't. So at 6, you get to roll on that table twice and take whichever result you would like. I don't know why you wouldn't take the higher one, up to you. play your way. If you're like, nah, I'm rolling in cash, I don't need a lot of money, you take the lower result. Good on you. But then at the higher upgrade at 8, you get to roll on both, like, you get to roll twice and take both amounts. So if you hit...
amazing.
Which is amazing.
You might actually be able to pay rent.
Yeah.
If you get
from doing your hustles.
From doing a hustle. It'll give you a little... I feel like it gives you a little more buffer room, which is so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After we get the murder board for you...
The murder board would be really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we're definitely just spending all of our things on this.
On more helpers. And a little bit of rent reduction.
Yeah.
I could see it.
And then, of course, at 10, you get to choose your own. So you get to work with the GM to create a unique benefit designed around the specific circumstances of your crew.
Which is amazing. It's a good way to tailor these things to a story and make it a little more plot heavy and fun, you know?
No. I feel, you know what would be kind of neat at like a morale boost of 10 is if we had like one of our, in Shades of Scrolls specifically, because we have like nomadic friends, if like once a month they come with one of those like hard to find items. Not that we can necessarily buy it, but
right.
We're offered like monthly a new source of like hard to get goods.
Right, something that is otherwise difficult to obtain.
Yeah.
Or
and
like,
that would be a nice benefit.
That's a really awesome one. I like that. At 10, like maybe Pons moves in.
Oh no, that we don't need a morale boost for that. He's just gonna move in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think that would be a big morale boost.
Pause moving in is the equivalent of getting a bar or a pool table. It's just
right.
like, we get pause. Done.
just saying, like a level 10 though, you just, the amount of IP you spent on that though,
right,
is huge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like that's 400.
So it needs to be something big. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Or maybe all of your face down rolls get a +1 or +2 because of your notoriety, because you have such a big headquarters now.
Yeah.
Oh, your reputation like goes up by
People know that like, no, you don't go there. That's where they hang out.
Right. That type of thing.
I could see that. That's a good one. But yeah, that's basically the DLC, guys.
It's so good. Highly recommend. Check it out. Hopefully
Convince your GM.
We'll be able to use this. I think we're just going to tell him that we're doing it and spend the IP and see what happens.
We already have 40 IP.
I know. I can get my murder board. I joked afterwards, because it's the evidence wall, that had I thought of it at the time, I could have used the evidence wall to replace the hole in that wall of the house that I found. that I walked away from.
Nice.
Oh no, the last thing I wanted to talk about this, because after you go through all the improvements, it does explain, you can go through the Cyber 6 acquiring their HQ to see how it all works. And then it has a record sheet, which is super handy, with the name of your headquarters, the location, how much it's costing you per month. And then it's got these handy dandy boxes for when you've collected the improvement and when you've upgraded it. And for rent reduction morale boost, just write the number of where you're at in that,
and
as
it's
opposed
a little,
to
like, third of a page there.
Yeah, it's like this tiny little handy card, and there's even a spot for notes at the bottom. So super handy. Love it so much.
GM could easily get that and just clip it to their GM screen. I'm just saying.
With a giant note that says "destroy" in the middle of the night.
13 days till destruction.
Yeah, I keep plotting it down. Six sessions till destruction.
That reminds me of, I was running a game that had Zelban in it, who used to do Indie Bandits with us. And I told him that he could have the Masamune, the sword that takes the souls of everyone it defeats and keeps their power. I was like, you can have that on episode 100. And so he was counting down to episode 100. So
Nice.
We ended on episode 97.
That's perfect. That's exactly how it should be. Just out of reach.
But yeah.
It's a great DLC. If you haven't downloaded it, go download it. Really looking forward.
Good as Valhalla.
Better. I would argue better. Easily add to your game. I'm looking forward to seeing this in Tales of the Red Forlorn Hope and what they possibly added in there as other upgrades that you can get. And I think it gives a really good format and balance to what you could ask for if there's something that you come up with that, you know, you might need to tailor. I think Lord Jesus mentioned that, like, if you're cowboy you want a horse instead of a garage, it's a stable. Why not?
Stable, yeah.
Yeah, reskin it.
Yeah.
So, flavorize it however you would like. I think it's an amazing DLC. Super excited about this one. Mm-hmm. Now we just need to find... Shays just needs to find a place.
A headquarter.
Yeah.
You know, we've been talking about this, though, for 40 episodes now, so... I don't know if we've been talking about it on the show, but I know, like, behind the scenes, we're like, all right, so we need a secret base. We're going to build a hospital.
Right, and then Jess can build it in The Sims. It all makes sense.
100%.
Right.
And then we'll have a floor map.
Yeah.
The warehouse was, I think, supposed to be our headquarters.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then Blank immediately took it from us.
Yeah. Well, no. We left it. We haven't gone back. Technically, we could see.
We could have fought to held it.
Yeah.
Oh, the one from the clowns.
The clowns.
I was thinking I'm sorry. I was thinking the arcade. That was my bad.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Because we were talking about the arcade, and then we immediately.
No.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I like this a lot. Like the mystery box DLC.
Oh, I love the loot box DLC.
Mm-hmm. They've added a lot of really fun stuff to the world. Like, sure, we get things like toggles, which is awesome, but it's kind of more like
the Faisal guns are worth that entire DLC. What is it? The backup plan? No, whatever the gun is that turns into a smoke grenade is still my favorite thing ever. The escape plan, yeah.
Yeah, when I did that technical difficulties episode and they had that vending machine, those were full of escape plans.
I thought so. As soon as you were like, it says Faisal, and I was like, oh, they're escape plans. Or I figured escape plans is somewhere the one that has like specific ammo loaded into it.
Yeah, the shotguns were the one type. Yeah.
Sorry, I derailed us. You were saying as great as like toggles is.
No, but as great as toggles is, it's kind of more like, okay, we get more guns, which is, don't get me wrong, big fan of the guns, but like I like the really fun flavor that gets added occasionally. That's why I like Valhalla, as stupid as it is because it's a bartending DLC. That's why I love, the mystery crate box one, because it's like a fun like achievement thing that's so meta it hurts. And like I love this because it's like The Sims. You get to build your cool hangout spot, and it like there are rules for it. So like these are the kind of things I really enjoy.
No. I mean, I think combat is natural in most any TTRPG. Like, it's going to happen at some point. And Cyberpunk more often than not, because that's just part of the world that you live in. But I agree with you. I like the DLCs that are like, but there's more than just combat. Live in the world. Here are ways to live
elf lines
in the world. Yeah, and I do. I really enjoy these DLCs.
Yeah. But we should be back soon with another DLC before much longer.
About
a month. Yeah. Not quite, but yeah. And hopefully it'll be another amazing one.
I feel like it'll be Halloween themed.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Probably.
Which, that's fine. Do we get to do another? We go to
a carnival so
park?
You guys can steal a Gothicorn and completely derail everything and not play half the mini games that I set up? Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Love you, Jazz.
We can play the other half of them.
The half that you guys didn't play. Werewolf Run and Ghost something. I can't remember. There were so many that got totally skipped when you guys stole a Gothicorn. Which, by the way, is in the Halloween Scream Sheets DLC written by Melissa Wong. The Gothicorn was her creation, and I just, it was the big prize. Who hurt you were too. Same person, oddly enough.
Yeah, I had no part in that. So.
You did, but you were not. I believe you did not start it. I think he did.
I'm surprised.
I think he is such a chaos gremlin when he plays.
I know. Well, and he read his blog lately, and he's like, "I don't like being a player because like."
Well, like when he was roller derbying, the first thing he does is just immediately. That's a card.
Yeah.
Yep. Wait, you have to go back from the lineup? Yes!
He spent the entire game in the box.
Yeah. Oh. That was hilarious, though. A lot of fun. We have a lot of fun at the show. But yeah, maybe next month, if it's not a game, if there's no like a mini game type thing we can play, maybe we'll do more Carnival games. We'll see if I might have my notes. Oh no, I released it as a DLC. You can get the Carnival Games DLC on the Saves vs. Death Patreon for absolutely free, or my Patreon for free. So patreon.com/Saves vs. Death if you want to pick up Halloween Carnival games. There you go. I think that's it. Is there anything else we needed to say?
Jazz, are we going to start doing the DLC for the Edge Runners and the...
the Edge Runners mission kit?
Yeah.
It was not my plan. If someone else would like to take lead on that, you can. I'm going to stick with Red, because that is the system I know. I like it a lot better. I really need to play. I'm one of those people that learns by playing more than just by reading, and I really dislike the quick hack system on paper for 2077, so I've kind of just ignored 2077.
Just don't be a hacker.
No, but anybody can hack you. I suppose as long as they have like line of sight. So this was my argument I had with Blake. I was like, then why wouldn't you be a sniper with the extended hack range and just hack them until they die or shoot them if they get too close?
Yeah. Make that one of your lines of veils. I don't like my
Cyberpunk 2077 veil or line.
Quick hacking's one of my lines.
Quick hacking is one of my lines. And because everybody is essentially given that the neuroport at birth, you can't get away from it.
Right.
So, but yeah, it might be one of those things where like if I play it, it'll be different, and I could enjoy it.
Right.
Actually see how it works. I realize this is my pure like prejudice without ever having played it, so I'd give it a shot, but not my jam. So for now, just the Cyberpunk RED DLCs.
Well, thank you, Jess, for getting us together to talk about those.
Thank you guys for joining me and to talk about this amazing DLC.
Yeah.
Night City Sofa will return the first Thursday of October to talk about the next DLC. And Shades of Scarlet should be back on Saturday, where... what was that face?
That was, I think so. I can't remember any schedule conflicts or
I don't remember
illnesses or... anyone out of town. Or...
So unless something comes up super last minute, we should be back on Saturday. Definitely join our Discord for the most up-to-date information on our schedule for when we have to randomly dip.
I was going to say, because it is Suicide Prevention Month and we are supporting, we are just bringing awareness to campaigns. We've been doing a lot more hanging out. I know a lot of it so far has been me and Jess hanging out playing Played Up because we love that game. But usually one of us is around hanging out. And we're going to, I personally am going to try to be a lot more present in chat. So if anyone wants to talk, just needs a buddy, I'm around. Also, we're going to be watching Princess Bride on Sunday. So come watch Princess Bride on the Discord in the movie night.
Yeah. Gibbs is hosting something every Sunday this month. Just to remind you guys that you are not alone. We are here. And please, if you are struggling, there are plenty of resources. I know there's the American Suicide Society. Man, what is it? Hang on. I posted it, and then I forgot. I don't want to get it wrong. American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, AFSP.org, has a lot of resources if you are in the States. I know most of you are. But definitely there are resources out there, so please take care of yourselves. Even if you can't see it, there is light and you are important.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for reminding me about that. Saturday, more Shades of Scarlet, hopefully, fingers crossed. Sunday, Princess Bride, great film. And I feel like there's something else that's coming up and I can't remember for the life of me what it is.
Nothing in the next week. I think we're good for the week.
Yep.
Okay. Until next time, Chooms, stay frosty.